And I don't know whether you're somebody like me, but I could go for a walk. So I could go out for a walk for an hour, and I could start thinking about somebody or a situation, and I could make a whole scenario up in my head, a whole story about what this person might do or could have done, or oh, gosh, and then they did this, and then they did this, and I've made this whole like film up in my head about what this person's thinking about me or this scenario. And I've completely missed my whole walk. I haven't been in the present at all. I've just been in my head thinking up a story that's making me feel like shit. I mean, what the hell's all that?
For years, I was caught up in my job, my marriage, and keeping everyone else afloat. I forgot what made me me. Then I picked up a coloured pencil and remembered how much I used to love drawing. That moment showed me that creativity could be a portal freeing up space in my mind, space that wasn't filled with stress or worry. And in that space came a reset. I started to build new habits and little rituals. I realised I mattered too. I began creating time for myself, putting myself first instead of always last. That was the start of my creative comeback. And bit by bit, life lit up again. That's what living in full colour really is, having the courage to put yourself back in the picture, to feel brighter, braver and more alive. And that's what this podcast is here for, to help you find your spark and live in full colour too.
Hello again. I am going to be talking today about clearing space for new things. I think that's what I'm going to be talking to you about. let me just check my notes. Yeah, it is. It's the art of letting go, the art of letting go, and it's letting go of things that no longer serve us. And this can be a little bit of a tricky one, because letting go of things can feel quite tricky, and it can feel a little bit sad. Sometimes we have to let go of things because they literally don't serve us anymore, but they've been part of our lives for quite a long time, and that could be relationships, it could be um, a job, it could be people who no longer sort of fit in our, that sounds really awful, doesn't it? People who no longer fit in our lives. It like that feels like we're kind of discarding people. That's not kind of what I mean. But it's letting go of the stuff that we don't need anymore. And if you're anything like me, I'm a little bit of a I'm not a I'm not a hoarder as such. But I find it really hard to let go of stuff. You know, I find it really difficult. If I'm clearing my wardrobe out, for example, and this is very much what this is about. It, there's all sorts of things that you can let go of, and one of them is that decluttering, isn't it? And I find it really difficult to let go of stuff like that. I collect a lot of things, as in, I'm a salesman's dream, basically. So my kitchen table is covered in stuff that I've bought that I had no reason to buy, but I've bought it because oh, that looks really great. Oh, that looks amazing. And I'm just like, and then I'll buy. I've done this a couple of times actually. I've got these little things on my glasses, so to stop my glasses falling down my nose. I hate it when my glasses fall down my nose. If you're a glasses wearer, it's one of the worst things, and they just gently sort of slide down your nose, and then you're always kind of pushing them up. And then the other thing that I really don't like as well is that they leave these big red marks on my nose. So I bought these little pads, little sticky pads that you kind of stick on the nose pads of your glasses. Hey presto, brilliant, bingo, done. Um, and then I forget that I've got them, and then I buy them all over again. And I mean, there was a point where I was thinking, oh my gosh, have I got? Do I need to be worried about this? Like, you know, kind of memory loss thing. But honestly, I think it's just a combination of menopause, um, which is just, I mean, that throws different things at you every single flipping day. You know, one minute you worry about your memory loss, next day you're like, oh my god, I'm going bald. To what's happened to my skin. you know, I've got one foot. I don't. I have 2 feet, but I have one foot that is dry, dry as a thing that's really dry. And why have I just got one foot that's dry? Menopause. Just give me 2 dry feet, or even better, give me 2 feet that aren't dry. It's crazy. So you know, I, I get stuff, I buy stuff for the things that are going on in my body, and then I don't really need them, and then they just get kind of stuck there, and then I'm like, well, I can't really get rid of that because, I might need it. So consequently, I end up with this kitchen table that's just covered in stuff, um, you know, and like I was saying, my if my wardrobe, I'll open my wardrobe up and I'm like, whoa, I can't shut the doors because it's full of stuff, but the stuff in there that I don't need, and then I'll take it all out. I am your typical, when you see these videos where it's like an ADHD trait, and you're like, right, I'm gonna do my wardrobe, and I'll pull everything out, and it'll all be on the bed. And then a friend of mine, Michelle, does this. You end up kind of going, oh, I forgot I had that. You kind of end up with like wearing like a jumper and then a coat and then a hat, and then you find this thing and that thing, and oh, look at all of these scarves, and you just end up like wearing all of this stuff. I've forgotten about this, or then doing a dance, and then you turn around and your bed is covered in all of these clothes, and you're like, I don't really feel like sorting through this anymore. So you literally just pick up this bundle of clothes and then just chuck it in the cupboard and shut the doors and go do something else. I find it really, really difficult to get rid of stuff. Really difficult to let go of things. And I also find it. I don't find it that difficult to let go of stuff that's bothering me. So if something happens. Although, am I telling the truth about that? I'm not sure really. Something happens or somebody says something, and you can really kind of almost like a dog with a bone. I'm not a dog with a bone. I'm not that person. I'm not that person that just keeps ragging and ragging and ragging at stuff. Actually, I am very. I forgive very easily, and I forget very easily. Actually, very easily I forget. So that side of stuff I don't find so difficult. Letting go of things that people have said. I'm like I'll think about it in the moment. I'll get upset about it in the moment if it's something that's upset me, and then I just like, do you know what? Just let it go. And I've actually got a little mechanism for letting stuff go as well, and it's called my. It's like it's a metaphorical imaginary trunk, and I'll put whatever it is that I need to be letting go into the trunk, and I'll shut the lid and I'll lock it, and then whatever has gone in there has gone in like a sphere, and this little like a bubble, like a soap bubble, and whatever the thing is that I want to let go of that's upset me, or that whatever, I'll just put in this bubble and I'll put it in the trunk and I'll shut it, and then the bubble bursts inside the trunk and everything just dissipates, and that's it, gone. I don't need to worry about that anymore. So that's a really great technique that I've learned, an NLP technique that I've learned that kind of helps me get rid of certain things. How certain things can just like really, they'll either really upset you or really annoy you, or whatever. It's a really, really great little mechanism just to kind of get rid of that. But letting stuff go, it clears the path for new things to come in. And if you're kind of hoarding feelings, you're hoarding being in relationships that you have no right to still be in that relationship if it's not serving you and it's not serving the other person. Well, if it's not serving you, we need to let stuff go. We just need to let stuff go. And I've been doing an awful lot of that recently, over the last few years. And I guess it started in 2021 when I picked up having coaching with my, I'm still having coaching with her on a regular basis, Susie Pearl, who is amazing. And I think I mentioned in another episode that she came on board because I was wanting to write a book, and I'm still wanting to write a book, but I'm using strategic procrastination to to not write the book, and that I'm sure that's a thing. Strategic procrastination is definitely a thing. I'm procrastinating, but there's a strategy behind it because I've not actually got to the point where I've learned everything that I want to learn to actually write a book about. So that's another thing. But I started having this coaching with Susie, and I started to really learn things about myself. And I started to really recognize that I had certain things in my life they just weren't serving me. And I'm not talking necessarily about all things physical. I'm talking about kind of thoughts and things going on in my head that were actually holding me back and keeping me from doing what I wanted to do. And those thoughts were, things um, things like worrying what other people thought, which is kind of a complete waste of time because you'll never really know what somebody's thinking. They can kind of voice, oh, this is what I'm thinking, but you never really know what somebody's thinking. And actually, are people really thinking about other people all of the time, or are people mostly thinking about what are other people thinking about me, and worrying about stuff themselves? So worrying about what other people think, is that really a great way of spending my precious energy and time? It's really not. It's really not. And I don't know whether you're somebody like me, but I could go for a walk. So I could go out for a walk for an hour, and I could start thinking about somebody or a situation, and I could make a whole scenario up in my head, a whole story about what this person might do or could have done, or oh, gosh, and then they did this, and then they did this, and I've made this whole film up in my head about what this person's thinking about me or this scenario. And I've completely missed my whole walk. I haven't been in the present at all. I've just been in my head thinking up a story that's making me feel like shit. I mean, what the hell's all that about? Why do we do that? I mean, great, I've got a fantastic imagination, but it's not doing me any good at all because I get home from my walk, I'm completely exhausted. I haven't acknowledged nature at all. I haven't been in the present. I've just been in my head making up stories, and how how absolutely ridiculous. What was the story that I've made up recently that I was like, and this is what I'll say to them if they say this? I can't even remember what it. I can't even remember what it was now. Wasn't even anything. It wasn't even anything. You know, I think it was just somebody. I think somebody might have commented something, and it annoyed me a little bit. I can't remember. And that's how important it is. I cannot remember. And then I've made this whole scenario up in my head. What a waste of bloody time. What a waste of time. And actually, letting go of that kind of thing frees your mind up so much, and it allows you to let in way better stuff. Way better stuff. And this is where creativity comes in, because if you do something creative, whether it's drawing or painting or sewing or crocheting or knitting or playing an instrument or singing or, whatever, dancing, um, that has this capacity to be able to stop certain thoughts going on in your mind, and it kind of frees a load of stuff in your head that allows you to bring in better things. And I've talked about this loads before, and that's what we need to be doing to kind of open that portal to better things. Because I could spend my whole life doing mundane things that don't bring me a lot of joy. They don't bring me a lot of joy at all. But I could carry on doing those. And I need to be letting those things go. The worrying about what people are thinking, worrying about what people are saying. A lot of the time on social media is not a great use of my time. I must admit, I do like a few moments, hours on TikTok. I do like that because my For You page on TikTok is full of like funny stuff that makes me laugh, and I like to laugh. I really like to laugh. Um, so I don't see that as a complete waste of time. And I think sometimes we have to be aware of like the doom scrolling, where we're just sitting there just literally scrolling, our eyes are glazed over and are like, that's not a great use of our time. But the social media where we're going and I don't know what we're looking for. We're just sort of, the Facebook stuff, the Instagram stuff. Why are we on there? Is, sometimes I have no reason to be on there, and it's just like I just need something for my fingers to do, basically. Well, I'm finding that I've got a lot of better things that I can be doing now. So one of the things that I've actually done recently is I've removed Facebook and Instagram from my phone. So I can still I can still find Instagram on my phone because I quite like to put a story up every now and again. But they're not there. They're not buttons on my phone anymore. So I can't now just go onto my phone and go Facebook. Blah, blah. If I want to go onto Facebook, I've got to go on my laptop. And I've done that on purpose because for one, sometimes just the notifications get a little bit too much, I know you can turn the notifications off, but just having them popping up all of the time, and then you're in the middle of something important and something that you actually want to do, and then something pops up on your phone and you're like, oh, and then you're there, and then you're distracted, and then you go back to here, and then you're distracted. One of the things as well that I've let go is having notifications coming through from my email. Don't do that anymore. You could, I mean, if you get as many emails as I get, and half of them are just like, I just delete. Not because I'm rudely not going to answer them, but because they're just like, junky, spammy stuff. Um, you know, and you just get notifications constantly coming through. It's a real distraction. So I'm letting that go. And what has that enabled me to do? It's enabled me to do so much more with my life. So now I have like lovely morning routines that aren't distracted by social media. I have lovely evening routines that aren't distracted by notifications going off. My phone, it automatically turns itself off at a certain time of night. And then it turns itself back on. You can go into sleep mode. It automatically does that. I've set it to automatically do that. Anybody who has got notifications coming through during the night, what are you doing? What are you doing? Turn them off. Let them go. Let them go. I'm gonna start a thing. Mel Robbins has got let them. I'm gonna start a thing. Let it go. That'll be in my book. Let it go. I'm sure there's already one out there. But yeah, there are things that we've got to let go. Do you know what else we need to let go is getting grumpy with people on social media, or getting letting go, getting grumpy, because half of the time we don't need to be grumpy with anybody. Grumpy, I think, is quite an English word, isn't it? I quite like the word grumpy. It's kind of soft. It's not angry. It's not rage. It's not, you know, cross. Although cross is quite a good word as well, I think. But grumpy is quite a nice word because it kind of got a softness around the edges to it, and it reminds me of, a little bit sort of like, you're a bit grumbly, a little bit grumpy, but there's sort of like a little bit of, humour in there as well. Um, but yeah, getting annoyed with people on the internet. We've got to let go of people getting annoyed at us, but we've also got to get rid of us being annoyed with other people, um, because that just brings our vibe down, our energy down. It's why I don't listen to the news anymore. I cannot abide listening to the news. And it's not because I want to, bury my head in the sand or anything like that. I just think it is such to be honest, you never know what's true anymore. You don't know what's real and what's not. There's so much AI, and I'm a sucker for AI. I like AI. I do like AI. I like how AI helps me, kind of organize stuff, all of that kind of stuff. But when it comes to knowing whether something's real or not, you kind of you kind of don't really know. There's a fabulous trend on TikTok at the minute. I absolutely love it. It's cats. It's cats being arrested by the police, and it clearly AI. Makes me sad that it's AI and it's not true. But cats being arrested on by the police, and they've got these policemen. They come up and they've got like a cat. This latest one is that they've got three cats and they've got backpacks on. And they're like, right, we're arresting you. This one's got a tin of tuna. This one's got a whole fish. Right, okay, we're arresting you. And then there's this other one where there's a cat in a car, and this guy's going, right, can I have your license and license and insurance information, please? And then the cat just looks at him and then literally shoots off in the car, and he's like, and he's talking in his walkie-talkie. Oh my god, it's so funny. Now I love that kind of AI, all for that. I want more of that. But the AI where things have been doctored and they're using the AI voices now, so you don't know whether you're listening to a real person or somebody impersonating a person, or there has been this situation and somebody so I just don't watch the news. I'm not It's not that I'm not interested, it's just that I don't want to be pulled down. I want to be I want to have a I want to have positive energy in my life. I really do. And if you want to watch the news, that's up to you. You do you. I'm doing me. Um, but that's something we can let go. Is because I think if I was watching the news all the time, I would just be getting annoyed. I would just be annoyed from ripping. I really would be. Because it just is so, some of the stuff that you hear on the news. No, I'm not that. So I'm letting that go, and I'm just letting go of getting annoyed with people. If I see something on social media that I don't like, I am scrolling on by. I am not getting in there and starting to keyboard warrior, um, because what does that? I don't know whether it gives like a dopamine hit. Maybe it does. Um, I don't know, but it can't make you feel good. If you've been like grumpy towards somebody on these, you can't feel good about it. Maybe you do. I don't know. But certainly I wouldn't. I mean, if I put something really mean to somebody on the internet, I'd be really worried about how that would come back on me. As in what they're going to say to me, and I'd just be feeling so no. And it's not something I would want to do anyway. I mean, why would anybody want to say anything mean? I'm really into I love the Victoria Beckham makeup. Honestly, it is so good. It is such good quality. And I talked about the Jones Road stuff as well, which I really like. I've been wearing the eye makeup, the Victoria Beckham eye makeup, and my eyes have stopped watering. They're the most beautiful products. They're amazing. Um, and so and I've just watched the Victoria Beckham series as well, which oh my goodness, I have so much respect for that woman. I know it was quite a sort of like a big advert for her as well, but you got a real glimpse into the stuff that she's kind of been through, and people are bloody horrible. What they say, I don't know how. I do not know how celebrities manage with all of the hate that they get. I mean, they must just not be on social media at all. I mean, it just must be absolutely horrific that people feel they can say whatever they like. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, the media, I think, is the worst, but I just don't get it. Um, anyway, so whenever I'll look at quite a lot of the Victoria Beckham ads and stuff like that come up if I'm on social media, and I was on one, and it was lots of people are doing reviews about the foundation and all of that kind of thing, because it is very expensive, but oh my god, it is good. Um, and there were people just like saying really horrible things, and I was like, where is the need for this? Why are you saying this? Is it really making you feel better? Anyway, I'd put there was a post, and I was just like, I said I absolutely love the makeup is amazing. I absolutely love it, and I love everything about Victoria Beckham. I think she's an amazing person, and I got like a load of likes on it. And I mean, I wasn't expecting anything. It was just like, do you know what? I just want to put that I really like her, and I really respect her, and I really like her makeup. And I've got all of these lovely likes. And I was like, yes, that's what we should be doing. Can you imagine if social media was just all lovely and positive? It would be so nice. It would be so nice. And I know I'm not as, I'm not indulgent enough. I do indulge myself a lot. I know I do, but I'm not that naive to think that everybody has to like me, and everybody has to like everybody, and everybody has to say lovely things. I know that. I do know that. Um, but I'm not going to be one of those people that says mean things. So I'm letting go of that. I'm letting go of. I've never really been that kind of person. I don't think I've ever said anything mean to anybody on social media. I don't think. Um, I don't think. Um, I keep it all for behind doors. I keep it all for home with my family. That's what I can talk about. Because that's how it is, isn't it? We're not all these absolute angels who never say, talk shit about anybody. I'll moan about people at the best of time, but I'm not going to do it on social media, because why would you? Why would you? You talk about it with people who you trust, and you want to have conversations with. To be honest, I don't do an awful lot of moaning. It's more it's more about like ideas and getting excited about stuff these days. But yeah, so I'm letting that go. And I think it's really important to for that kind of stuff to let it go. I think there's loads of stuff we can let go, and I think I could waffle on for ages. And you're probably listening to this going, Bonny, is there a point to this podcast? Is there actually a point? Yes, there is a point. Don't fill your head with all of the crap and the negative rubbish, because we have enough of that coming at us. Try and leave some of that and let go of some of the things that you don't need to do. So don't make up stories that aren't true, and I know we all do it, it's a human thing, but don't do that. Don't get cross with people on the internet. Don't, if you don't like something, just move past. um and if you're gonna if you're gonna sort your wardrobe out, don't do it on your own. Let that go. Get somebody in to help you. Because then you're not going to just shuck everything back in all in one go. So yeah, just let go of the stuff that makes you cross. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I've spent 27 minutes, 28 minutes trying to get that across. Let go of the stuff that annoys you. Don't do it. Do less of it. Don't go there. And do more of the stuff that makes you really happy.
That's enough waffling from me. Here's to living in full colour.